All right, all right.
Yeah, boy.
So, Oklahoma, Texas. This game only has 9 points scored right now. I think both defenses are putting on a fairly solid performance. Texas's defense is really the only thing putting on a performance for
Yeah.
Texas right now. Although
Mhm.
the last drive, Texas was they showed some life there. That was the first time the entire game though I've seen them look like they know how to football. It's
I mean,
it's rough.
I feel like it's kind of what we talked about earlier in the day with them is what's yeah, I know Arch Manning's had his struggles, but their offensive line and credit, Oklahoma for having a great defense, but their Texas offensive line just they're just getting their butts whooped, man. And that
Shoddy.
somebody's always in Arch Manning's face. It seems like when he's running for his life.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean we touched on earlier. They had three separate members of their O line go to the NFL, two receivers, best running back. They've definitely been gutted, and
Mhm.
it's showing. Whether you are completely discounting the Manning boy or not, they they're missing everything that needs to surround him, even if he has the talent for that to be effective.
I mean, even
I
if
think we'll see them build though. I don't think they're
yeah,
forever cast to the oh sorry about that, cast to the depths or anything, but
Yeah, it's been an
mm-mm.
absolute defensive game, and that me being a football guy, I enjoy watching defensive games.
Yeah,
It's the man, Oklahoma's defensive line are
scary.
just
They are
grown
scary.
ass men.
They
They
are.
are just they are pushing people around. I mean, it has been impressive, and everybody's been talking about them being the best defense. They're showing out.
Yeah.
They're not giving anything easy. Rushing yards, passing yards, it does not matter. Nothing is coming easy. Anything Texas has got has been by scratching and clawing and scratching
right.
and clawing. So I did like that last drive. I agree with you. That was about the biggest pop as far as they've got some life in them the whole half. But Arch has looked okay, but to Reese's point, man, he has been running for his life. The Oklahoma's just been all over him. So it's been tough, but that's the kind of game you were expecting out of this, man. This is that game. So we'll see who does better job making clicks at halftime. I don't know much more better Oklahoma could do on defense. They obviously have some struggles on the offense. Mateer, he's obviously not 100%. He had one really good third down conversion, 3rd and 7. He peeled one off and just stayed in there and stuck it. But was maybe one of 2 or 3 passes where I was like, that looked good.
Hmm.
So we'll see how that progresses. He obviously is already bleeding again. They've been messing with that thumb the whole time. He's been in and out. So
I
I
was
don't
saying
know.
it's too early. I mean,
Yeah.
that's 2 weeks ago. Not even a full 2 weeks.
Hmm.
I'm not saying you don't have the performance or the ability to use the hand. I'm saying that hand does not need to have a helmet
No.
slammed into it
Right.
repeatedly. you
They
know?
they they need to be very careful with that because you would hate to lose him after this game for a lot longer because
Hmm.
Right.
I think their offense needs him because they're struggling anyway.
Yeah.
So which I don't know about the backup. I hadn't really seen him play much, so uh, not trying to insult the guy or nothing. But if your defense is playing this good, you might even want to think about benching your starter for a little bit, just to prevent him from getting hurt. So.
Oh, absolutely. On that note, what are you thinking about the Indiana game? I know you've been watching everything play out over there.
Well, I'm actually really impressed with Indiana. They just kicked a field goal right before halftime, so now they're in the lead, 13-10. Uh, I will say both of these teams have looked kind of similar. The quarterbacks have similar stats right
Hmm.
now. Nobody's, I don't think, to my knowledge, has thrown any interceptions or nothing unless I've missed it. Trying to swap between the two. Uh, I mean, pretty impressive performances by both. It's what you would expect out of a top tier matchup. I think is what I'm getting at. So.
And I think you made a good point there in talking about the quarterback performances, especially if
Hmm.
you compare it to the Oklahoma Texas game, which is the game that was kind of heralded as potential Heisman candidates duking it out, and that's not really what we've seen. Whereas the Indiana game, we've absolutely had that. Both quarterbacks showing outstanding capabilities there, and both teams really showing that they are solid programs, that the victories they've had have not been flukes, that they are capable of putting together exactly what you want to see from that elite tier program. And that's exciting. That's a good game. And I will probably devote the majority of my attention to that during the second half, because I think that's going to end up being the banger for this time slot. But I mean, we've been saying that all week. That's been a known.
Yeah, it's another one of those defensive games, right? It's just good football. To Reese Denier's point, Fernando Mendoza is 10 for 15, 110 yards. Dante Moore is 11 for 17, 123 yards and a touchdown. So that's about as close as you can get. And the incompletions have been excellent plays by the defense. It's not that the receivers aren't helping them. There might have been one or two drop passes on either side, but the rest of it has just been good defensive plays. Those guys are on their stuff, and it's good to see. I really like seeing football like this, because both of these teams are trying to prove that we deserve to be here. We're in the limelight for a reason. We're ranked here for a reason, and we're getting what we paid for. Those tickets, I'm sure they were on up there. Let's see. $163 when we did our picks. I'm sure they went up a little bit after that, but it is a good show, and I'm so happy to see these Hoosiers come out and show the world that there is a reason we're ranked here. Our wins are valid. Us beating the crap out of Illinois was not a fluke. We're here to play football. And that's what you want to see. And you want to see your coach on the sideline being fired up when need be. There was a couple controversial no call on pass interferences, and anybody watching the big screen was like, it's your job to see this. And Kurt was on the sideline fired up. They almost got him a penalty and took it up, gave him a warning instead. So, and I think they gave him that warning because they looked up at the big screen and said, okay, we screwed up. We screwed. Next time, just don't do that again, But that's unfortunate. That's the difference in a couple points in this game too. So, Indiana might even be up a little bit more at halftime if it weren't for that kind of stuff. But that's football. We got what we got, and we got a hell of a banger, as JR would say. This is a damn sure slobber knocker, boys.
One thing that I don't think any of us were predicting that has happened today is the Pitt upset.
Ooh,
that's rough.
Yeah,
It's rough.
State team,
man.
The Florida State team we saw in week 1, and the Alabama Crimson Tide team that we saw in week 1. I don't think either of those teams exist anymore.
No,
I think they have both become a completely different animal.
Yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
they've gone different
One team
directions.
clearly benefited more out of that transition.
Not to beat a dead horse, but what the hell happened to Florida? Florida State was just they had some real gusto to them coming into the season. They had some wheels, and then it was just right off a cliff. It's like, who left the building? Did they stop coaching? Did the players give up? I don't know what's going on. And then you lose to Pitt, who has not been good this year.
No, they're not a good team.
That is a bad look. There's going to be some soul searching today when they get back back home. So
We've seen several teams do that. They've kind of flipped or swapped personalities, and then you've got your streaky teams like Arkansas. Like now, they are putting up a very solid performance against Tennessee. It looks like a very decent team.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, no. And I don't know. It's just all over the place right now. We're still at the point in this college football season where what has happened does not determine the future. Mm-hmm. Everyone is still relatively in control of their own destiny. Mm-hmm. Everyone still has a chance to do something for the most part.
Now, when you say that in Florida State's particular situation with them dropping to Miami, now you're starting to get into a bad spot there, because it's not like Georgia Tech's not doing well in that conference is too, Right. So if you can't get to that ACC conference game with, you starting to get some losses here, that's where it can creep up and get you in the end, where maybe you don't get to go to the playoffs because you couldn't make it to that conference game. So not saying that they're done, like you're also alluding to, but you don't want to dig too deep of a hole in conference play either, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, this performance right now, that's, for me, pretty much writing them off for the rest of the season. And at this point, unless we see Georgia Tech start to crumble, unless we see things like that, they are written off. But
Yeah.
we've got a lot of variability with the Yellow Jacket program. You know, we got a coach that might possibly be saying he's going to take the job at Penn State, and that can do things to the player's psychology there. There's a lot of variables. But regardless, Miami is looking solid, and I mean they're the kings of Florida at this point. They've beat all of them, right? They ran the Triple Crown. Unless you want to start throwing, UCF and all that in there too, but I think that's unnecessary.
UCF lost today to Cincinnati, I do believe.
Oh, what? The Bearcats won another game? Oh, that's weird. I thought maybe one of the Dude Bros might have been talking about them.
They came through for you.
Even a blind squirrel, I suppose, right?
Oh, gets the dig in. Well, let's circle back a second to talk about the poise that the Tide showed today.
The poise that the Tide showed.
So saying that, can I start with, I think this is going to be obvious to everyone now that probably watched that game. To me, this was a big takeaway for Ty Simpson at the composure he showed, and I think he just really helped himself in that whole conversation of Heisman later on. I know he could still mess it up in games to come, but I think today was another step for him in the right direction.
Yeah, he's definitely doing what he needs to do.
Yeah, I was absolutely fair. Absolutely agree with both of you. He is just poised is the right word. He showed such composure, and there was times where he did not have a second to think. I mean, he was sacked several times today. He had the defense in his face a lot. He had to step up a lot. He had to move out of the pocket a lot, and they just kept putting the ball in his hand, and we needed it because I mean, Alabama had two different players cold cock knockout today. Just that absolutely concussion, absolutely in protocol. We will not have them next week. So, today was just a barn burner, man. Those guys were fighting for every inch, and they fought all the way to the last minute. And it was a hell of a game. I'm proud of the Tide. I'm proud of the coaching, and I'm very proud of Ty Simpson. I can't state that enough. He has just grown every week, and he continues to show us why he got that job. And if he just continues to get better, we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And got to give a shout out to the defense again this week because they did exactly what I wanted them to do, because everybody was also throwing that up in their face. Hey, you're not so great against the run. What are you going to do when you got one of the best running backs in the country against you? And, I mean, they were successful with him, of course, in the beginning of the game, but they buckled down. I thought they did pretty good to hold them to what they did.
Yeah, from the way that game started to the way that game ended, it was it wasn't a dramatic switch. It wasn't a flip. It was back and forth, back and forth. But slowly but surely, you saw the Tide start to get the momentum, and you started to be able to believe, all right, we are going to pull this game out. This is our game to lose. As long as we do what we're supposed to, we're going to win. And that's how I felt in the fourth quarter. Yes, absolutely.
That's what you want to see.
Yeah, that's what the people want to see.
Let's see. We've touched on the Auburn Georgia game a little bit. I think that boils down to Auburn hitting its key players, the offensive line not completely falling apart, and then Georgia's offensive line, if they can maintain against Auburn's defense, because Auburn, their laurels are going to be heavily resting upon that D, and then Cam Coleman. Let's be real.
Yep.
And that's what we got flashing out there. Let's shift over to the Tennessee game. That's going on right now. That has not necessarily been what I was expecting. I think Arkansas is putting up a lot more than I thought they would at this point. And I like that, but I also don't like that because they need to be a team that is able to have that performance consistently. And if you're not doing that consistently, all you're doing is screwing over everybody else's chances, So hurry up and suck fully or get your act together.
So with Tennessee there, though, the thing that if I'm a Tennessee fan that I don't necessarily like is giving up too much, too many points. You gave up a lot of points to Georgia, which I'm not hating on Georgia, but they're not like the most overpowered offense right now. and then you probably giving up more than you want to Arkansas. So definitely need to try to reel that in a little bit if you're Tennessee and tighten things up on that side of the football.
Yeah, and on that point, I feel like Tennessee has been that team where you can watch for a half and think they're one of the best teams in football, and then watch for another half and be like, why are these guys even here? And it's obviously more the first than the other, because they put several quarters of good football together. But sometimes they've just got a stretch of 15 minutes where they don't look like they can get out of their own way.
Yeah.
So, but it's one of those teams that absolutely has an offense that can score points. It's a defense that can absolutely shut you down. But can they do it all at the same time for 4 quarters? And I think that's probably why Tennessee's having such a hard time with Arkansas, because Arkansas has a lot of talent on that team, but it's more so exactly what I just said. They'll show streaks, but it's only for a quarter or 2 quarters, and then it's just here's Arkansas. They let Memphis beat them. Here's Arkansas. Somebody ran for 300 yards on them this week. It's just it's unfortunate to see, and like you said, that it turns Arkansas into what they've been for a long time, which is just kind of the stinky shoe. They're there to piss people off, and that's what they do. They'll mess a couple teams up, mess up their playoff, mess up their seeding, and it's a great win for them and their fan base because they're,
Right.
but it doesn't really do anything for that team to go any further. They're just there, it's just, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm trying to reach back in my head to the last time that Arkansas had a truly relevant team, and I think that
McFadden, when they had McFadden running.
I was trying to think maybe Felix Jones McFadden combo. That
was Jerry Jones still on the team with Jimmy Johnson? I don't know.
No, I think that would have been it though. So that would have been what, 2006,
early
5,
early,
somewhere around there.
Yeah. He was a freak of nature to watch too. McFadden was fun to watch him with the ball in his hands. Yeah,
that was. I mean, we already talked about that, but there was about a 2-3 year stretch there, and the SEC in particular was just stacked,
juggernaut
with that backfield, and it was truly a delight to see all of these people who are still in the NFL now, or the ones who are out already going into the HOF. It's cool.
Yeah, it's nice to see.
Let's we're getting close to the second half kickoff. So do we have any final thoughts or anything else that we want to look forward to? We do have some good matchups still coming down the line further in the day. We already know what those big games are. Primarily, of course, I'll be sticking to the regular network games as the bigger games for the eyeballs for me. But we'll have 2 good games on the SEC network, 2 good games on ESPN. It's a good football Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Great games today.
Yeah, I want to close with is that I hope that Indiana takes that energy from the first half and rolls it directly into the second half. I think if they don't come out the same way and play the same kind of football, even up a notch, that Oregon is going to weasel their way back in this and steal it from them. I don't want to see that. I want to see Indiana come out and keep doing what they're doing. Mendoza has been very good. I like his decision-making. He hasn't been the reason that there's been a problem. None of that. It's just been crisp. And if he can just find that deep ball, if he can just find that deep ball in the end zone, we're going to see some numbers out of them. But I allude to what we were talking about in the pregame. These are 2 Heisman candidates, and they are duking it out, and we're going to see which one can come out ahead.
Well, I think the one that comes out ahead is Ty Simpson. But
I agree.
That being said, I very much looking forward to this Indiana-Oregon matchup. And then we've got 2 good SEC variables happening right now, so I'm looking forward to those results as well.
Yeah.
Reese, any final words?
Just kind of hitting off of what you were saying about Indiana. I think they'll keep the intensity. I think it's going to be there. So if they can capitalize on some moments here, I think that they could pull it off.
Sweet. Agreed. Well, boys,
let's roll
take
in.
her easy.
Till next halftime, roll Tide, baby.
See y'all.